Oh, that's ridiculous.
Hello everyone, instructional video here. How to set up your Zoom meetings appropriately so when you share links with students, if you're moving towards doing some live video conferencing or touching base with all the students and you'd like to connect with kids in the class via video conferencing, just to set it up so it's a little bit safer, make it easy for students to access, but also making sure that the right people are in on that meeting with you. So the way we do that is we go to zoom.us in your browser. Make sure you're doing this either on a Mac or a PC. I'm going to sign in. Okie dokie. So down here in the left hand side of the page, go to settings, and there's a lot of stuff in here that you can toggle in relation to the meeting. I'm going to go down slowly, and I'm only going to talk about the things that we should be turning off or on before we schedule a meeting with students. So going down. So allowing participants to join the meeting before the host arrives, I'd like to keep that off. That means that students are not joining in on the meeting link and chatting with each other before you're there, and I think that's probably best left off for obvious reasons. We're going to go down here. Only authenticated users can join meetings. We're going to turn that off, so it doesn't matter if you have a Zoom account or not, but it will still require people with a password. To have a password, I should say. Let's have this turn on. Require a password when scheduling new meetings, require a password for instant meetings, and require a password for personal meeting ID. I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between all these, but just as a default, we're going to have all these turned on. This one, I think by default, is actually turned on. Embed password in meeting link for one-click join. You want to make sure that is turned off. Require password for participants joining phone on. Mute participants upon entry. Yes, make sure that's on, please. Keep scrolling down. I like this one on. Allow meeting participants to send a message visible to all participants. So whatever students type in the chat, everyone can see anyway. Private chat, turn off. Auto-saving chat, turn on. Now, co-hosts, allow the host to add co-hosts. Probably not a bad idea to have that on, especially if for some reason you might be having a meeting with another teacher, and then you add them as a host in the meeting. It just gives them a certain level of control to control the other your students in the conversation. Might want to have this on. Allow hosts to temporarily remove an attendee from the meeting. So people being inappropriate, given a warning, still being silly. That type of thing. Down here, screen sharing, you want all participants to be able to screen share. There might be a reason why not, but I think probably have that on. Who can start sharing when someone else is sharing? Host only, please. All these things left on here, probably a good idea. We will turn this on if it's not already on for you, and that might be something we move toward doing a little bit down the road. So let's keep going down. Let's have virtual background turned on. That's really just for the participant. I think if students are on a device where they can allow it, I think it'd be absolutely fine to do. Make sure waiting room's turned off. Don't worry about this type of stuff here. Have this tick on. When a cloud recording is available, notify host when cloud recording is available, so you get an email for that. And send a copy to the person who scheduled meeting webinar for the host. That's good. When attendees join meeting before host, notify host. So you might get some emails. Let's just say you're at home, busy with something, and you start getting email notifications. It's probably just a good reminder that, oh yeah, I should be online. There's people waiting for me. When a meeting is cancelled, you can have that on. Someone schedule a meeting for host. They can stay on too. Okay. So that's all of the settings that we need to have off and on before we schedule a meeting. All right, so next step is to actually schedule the meeting. I'll show you the easiest way to put this information out to students. So click on schedule a new meeting. You might call it Monday morning check-in 6G. Set a rough time, but you can still start the meeting before or after the time that you schedule. Try and do it as close as possible, I guess. Meeting ID, you can just leave that to generate automatically. Make sure require meeting password. You can kind of toggle that if you want, but just basically whatever it kind of comes up with, that's totally fine. You want to make sure video is on for host and participant. Have the audio click for both. Make sure this is turned off. I think by default it might be turned on, so you don't want people getting on before the host is on. Mute participants upon entry, it's quite useful. And record the meeting automatically in the cloud. We definitely want that on. Let's click save there. Okie dokie. All right, so 2 things you need to get out of this that you'll pass on to your students. It's all right here, but I'll show you another way you can generate that information. This here is the link that you would share probably in your Google Classroom or Seesaw, that when people click on, it will open the Zoom meeting. So that will take them that far. This is the code that they will be required to put in to actually join the meeting. So there's a level there of making sure the right people are in the right meeting. There is a scenario where people who get access to these codes would share it to people who aren't on there. If at any time there's anything inappropriate or people who shouldn't be on the meeting, shut down the meeting immediately would be my advice there. You can go to copy the invitation here, and you've got all this data here as far as sending that in an email or whatever. So you could, I guess, just copy that meeting invitation, or just here, that's the stuff that we're going to use for classrooms, to push out at Google Classrooms and on Seesaw. So that link I was talking about before, that's it there, and that's the password. All right. You might have a regular Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon meeting set up. These links stay open for as long as you keep the meeting scheduled. Okay, so at any time. So this might be the one link that you only ever provide to all your students. So this is what you click on. I've given you a timetable of when I'll be online, which is Monday morning 9:30 to 10, Wednesday afternoon 2:30 to 3, and Friday 12 to 1. That's the link they can always use and always have that password to get in, remembering that the students will not be able to join the meeting until you are on there as well, because you are the host of the meeting. So you don't need to be creating new meetings or multiple meetings a week for students to join. This is just your class kind of check-in link. That's going to be helpful for you because it's the same link all the time, and helpful for students because they don't have to find different information. You don't have to post it all the time, etc. So I'm just going to copy that information now, because that's what I'll be putting on my Seesaw or in my Google Classroom. Cancel. And to start the meeting, making sure that you've installed Zoom on your PC or Mac. Start the meeting from this web page, and it will open up Zoom on your computer. Always join with computer audio, and you might just want to tick that going forward, and then you're in the meeting. If there's anyone on the other end of that waiting to go in, they would have just been waiting on a blank screen. They may have put the code in already. Okay. Remembering some of the features, just as a bit of a reminder here. I'm just going to stop video for a moment. Okay. You can invite people into the meeting again, but probably at this point, you only want the students that you've already sent the link to via Seesaw Classroom going in. Down here, muting, unmuting for yourself is quite useful. Manage participants, so that's what you click on there. On the right hand side, all those students who are in on the conference with you will pop up. Encourage them to use the raise hand feature if they've got questions. Also encourage them to stay muted the whole time. Here you can mute all students, unmute all. They can unmute themselves when you've muted them, but if they're continuously doing that, being a little bit annoying, you might want to remove them from the conversation. Okay, so some things in there you can do that with, and when they pop up here, you can do stuff like, well, I can't actually remove myself, but I'm the host, but usually that function is there. Sharing screen. So you've got just what's on your desktop. So if you're kind of doing a bit of a how-to video for kids using a web-based app or explaining something, you would just share your screen with them. Whiteboard is the really good drawing feature. So if you're writing something for students, trying to explain, you can do that too. Click Stop Share to do that. The chat feature over here, so the message is to everyone. You as the host can toggle that when there's more people in the meeting. You can actually select specific people to chat to, but I don't think the participants can do that. So you've also got over here the option, because you've set it to record automatically, you might want to pause or stop it. Don't worry about any of this stuff really at all at this point. This might be something worth investigating in the future, depending on how far we go. When you end the meeting, if you leave meeting, that actually leaves everyone still chatting with each other. Generally speaking, you want to end the meeting for all. Try not to end the meeting for all until everybody else has left, just in case there's a quick question or something like that. But make sure you end meeting for all and not leave meeting, because then people can still still stay online and be chatting with each other. So we don't really want to facilitate that. I think that's all. Enjoy. Any questions, please come see me. Thanks.